So class, take a look, okay. See what is our progress. Okay. So class, take a look. Actually, we are in this one, the Eightfold Right Path, right understanding of the dependent origination. So actually, in the overview, how is it? So class, remember we are in the chapter 3. Okay. So we finish taking refuge. Okay. Entering the Dharma, 5 vehicle. Now we are in the 3 vehicle. And then coming, okay, we are in the 3 vehicle. So in the 3 vehicle, so basically we have gone through what? So class, just try to recall. Number 1 is the stage 1, explaining the difference, the type of people who enter this path. So mainly target is for those who want to eager for the liberations. Okay. Then second is the stage. Let's take a look. The stage 2. So stage 2 is what? Explaining the differences in the type of people undertake this path, you see. So basically, they are the one, I see. No, second one is the theory. Let's take a look, you see. So here is the defining noble truth, 4 noble truth, and the 8 noble path. So this is the one. So we have already finished the 3 training, okay, meaning to say it's the advanced training morality, the mind, the meditation, and also the wisdom. Okay, so now we go to the noble eightfold path. So this is the biggest scope and the most important one. And then from here, actually, before the trade training, I think here you see we go through the 4 noble truths and the law of the independent origination in this section. So class, remember 4 noble truths. Number 1 is the suffering. Second is the cause of the suffering. Okay, so the suffering basically defined as our 5 aggregate. So the cause of the suffering is the ignorance and the craving. Okay, so and the third and the fourth is what is the cessation of the suffering, which is the nibbana. So how to do that is the last one. That is the trade training, or we call Eight Noble Path. Okay, Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. So in this 4 section now, actually, especially in the second one, is about the cause for the suffering. We discuss the dependence origination, which we are going to discuss it again today. Okay, so I want to emphasize that in 3 vehicle, basically the author noticed that the 12th condition is so important. That's why if you discuss with the Theravada devotee, they will basically they will keep on mentioning how important the dependent origination, because this is the one which will explain, past life, present life, and the future life. And what is the reason? Is the arrogance, the ignorance is the main cause. Then the cause, and this is the cause, we make us to correct the karma involved in the sensuous, rupa and arupa, jhanas. So this is the karma we go. And this is the one we'll keep on make our wheel of the reincarnation keep on rolling. Then from this wheel, we know how do we from the wheel we understand the cause, how the wheel turning, but at the same time we know how to stop the wheel. That's why this one dependent origination is so important. If you notice that it seems for you, the memory is a piece here and piece there, not very complete. Please go back after the class. Really study a little bit and Google over it. Okay. Then next, let's take a look. Okay, so from here we'll come to the this is today our syllabus. So in the previous lesson we talked about the dependent origination. So we start to explain. So we said this is the true meaning of all things arise interdependently, which is very profound. But I think maybe before we go to the proceed class, if possible, if you can remember, please try to recall. Make the dependent originations, the 12th element appear. If you fail to do so, okay, please take a look at the diagram now, okay, and maybe keep on repeat, maybe 3 to 5 times, one by one. Once you finish, please raise hand by Zoom, okay. If possible, you try to recall by yourself, please. When people finish, Mr. Leong finish. Mr. Leong, you just raise hand to put it down your hand first. Mrs. Leong, 你可以背中文的啦，如果有中文你就背中文的啊。Okay, more than half finished. Okay, so class, let's take a look at why the will is so important. You can put down your hand, class. Okay, so class, basically, if you talk about to put the Buddhism in the daily practice, yes, you can. Class, take a look, you see. Here, we got a sixth sense, then we have a contact, then we have the feeling. Basically, the sixth sense, contact, and feeling is our vibhaka result. We can't change it. But from the feeling, come to the craving is something you can do. So, class, basically, if you the meditation in Theravada, they are based on this theory. So, some they are mindfulness on Vedana, mindfulness of feeling. So, meaning to say that what they try to do is. You see a class, sixth sense, sure we have one. We wouldn't destroy our sixth sense, okay? But always we notice that the sixth sense, it seems is the indoor to have a craving or maybe the hatred to appear. But the point is because the mindfulness. So once you contact something already, and very soon basically, if let's say you can't be, you don't control well your feeling, then immediately you go either the craving or the anger. So what to do? So class basically is sometimes we will go to guard our door. So you know something you're not supposed to see, don't go and see it. Especially if something if external object can trigger your very strong craving and also the anger. Sometimes they are the accumulations, and then you cannot stop it. So you have to try to avoid it. You have to try to avoid it. But sometimes in company, you can't avoid Or maybe if you hate your boss a lot, then how can you continue? So that's why what Buddhism try to do is we try to change the mindset. So you must be able to see his advantage, his goodness, so that next time once your your faculty to contact him again, then the anger will appear. Because from between the contact, you already change your mindset already. So this is something in the daily life is what you can do. But for this, and then in order make sure that your feeling won't come back to the craving, the daily meditation is very important. So that's why we say sometimes the meditation will help to the sila, even though in the system we say sila, samadhi, and panya. But sometimes your samadhi do well, then it can help your sila, especially if you get the joy during the meditation. Basically, if you have joy, it will be so easy for you to observe the precept. But if you're without joy, very hard. Why not? Because the joy is just like a corpse. You plant a lot of corn trees, some some the corn or banana tree there. Then then there's no room for the weight to grow up. But if let's say you plant nothing, then always the weight will grow up easily. You see, so that's why daily meditation, if you can attain certain the calm, then you found that you observe it easily. And then from this part class, if let's say unfortunately you create a very strong karma here, we call it as a strong karma. So basically you can't avoid to the next life. But what we worry here is if that karma strong and they will pull you down to the three woeful state, then what you should do is your feeling of the repentance is very important, number one. And then second is you know okay, you have done something wrong, you do repentance and make sure you won't repeat anymore. And then you have to go back to the Buddhism. Do you really understand? If you understand the cause and effect, you have to warn yourself again. Especially you feel nothing to the wrongdoing. So this is why you must be, once you do the wrongdoing, you have guilty. That is the point. You must have it so that you can prevent you to create a strong karma until the next life. This one, the future effect will go to the three woeful stage. Okay, and basically, sometimes the karma class in the present, some is quite relevant to the past causes, it's the previous life. So that is the more tough part, because we don't know our past life, what have we done, you see. Sometimes the habitual is very strong, and then it can make you to trigger present habitual easily. Then there will be accumulations. See it not? So if for those who without learning any Buddhism, they just let things come and go away. As long as maybe it is legal, and maybe it is illegal, they will do it secretly. That's what the mundane people do. For us, we know, this is wrong already, because from Buddhism, and we know sometimes it's accumulation from the past life. So we have a lot of meditation method, all these things to let you maybe number one, it's not easy to totally get rid of it, but maybe temporary, you just forget it. So you shift your attentions maybe to Buddha statue, maybe to the Buddha chanting. This is something you can try to do. So always remember, for us, basically what happened to us is like this diagram. Okay, we are swimming from the reverse direction of the river. So we might fail, okay, but anyway, as a human, we should try our best so that one day we will win during this combat. Class, take a look, you see. Now you see. Class, if basically if you don't hold the precept well, what happened to us observing the precept, it's just like this diagram, you see. So where's my fish? Where's my salmon fish? All my salmon fish disappeared already. Wait, let's see. This is what I want now. Okay. Okay. So you see, this is the river. The river, flow in the reverse side. You see, so but we try. We try to against the flow. We try to against the flow of the river. You see, so this is diagram. I like it so much. So we are just like the salmon fish. We try to go up, then we push back by the flow again. You see, so class. Always. So we need more energy if we go by grow and we have ample knowledge and also keep on trying. Then we might be able to flow successfully to flow against the reverse stream of the river. Okay. So this is about the Paticca Samuppada in the practical way. Please always see the diagram and try to think, understand the definition, then to link to yourself. See what can you do in the meantime. Okay, class, let's take a look. So this is something we tried to discuss in the previous lesson. You see how? So it will explain the limitless continuation of the birth and the death. Okay. Then ignorance causes action, actions causes consciousness. So this is number one and the second. Okay. Then, okay. Then from here you see nothing exists by itself or forever. Okay. Exists two indirectly relating to one another in mutual dependence. Class, this is the meaning you see. Meaning to say that in order we have a mental formation appears, we must have an ignorance, all right? And then now we have you see, now we got the six, we have this mind and matter, right? It's due to we have the consciousness, you see. And then here, actually, we also have an ignorance. So this is we try to highlight in particular point, but actually, for every point, we will see all the element inside. Like now you see, so class, we are our sixth organ, we try to contact, but now we still, of course, we have the ignorance one. Okay, ignorance, even though we don't highlight in present life, but there is ignorance. Okay, so now all the contact are ignorance-based contact. So this is how we go through the diagram. And next, let's take a look. Okay, so in previous lesson, when describing impermanence, the sutra used terms such as not everlasting, not reliable, not guaranteed, insecure. Because after the Paticca Samuppada, 12 link conditions will start to contemplate that the nama and rupa, they are impermanence. Okay, so this is where we start. Okay, now let's continue. Okay, Sally, please, there are many different.
There are many different explanations concerning emptiness and the non-existence of the self. The self in this context has the meaning of mastery, being in control. Mastery means making one's own decision, while being in control means being able to manipulate others. In short, the self is free, at ease, and independent. All people think there is such a self, and religions in general also say that sentient beings, or more specifically, human beings, have a self, which some call the soul. But where is this self? What is it? Ordinary people have not thought about this. When these questions are put into religious scholars and philosophers, problems arise. Opinions differ. They feel that there has to be something that is permanently unchanging, free and independent, something that is the principal substance of the life of sentient beings and of humans in particular. They also feel that such a permanent and independent entity is peaceful and at least, and it can return to the divine kingdom or can become liberated to enjoy permanent freedom in the future. But in the Buddha's right contemplation, such a self do not exist. Sentient beings are nothing more than the five aggregates, the six sense organs, six elements, and the phenomena of cause and effect in body and mind, arising and having existence. In all this constant transmigration, where is the permanently unchanging self? How can that which exists independently have an independent self? Without a independent, without a permanent and independent nature, can there be an independent and free, that is, happy self? In the Buddha right contemplation of impermanence and the non-existence of self, all conditioned things, such as visible forms, are impermanent. Impermanence is suffering, and not secure and not free. This suffering is not self, and there's no me, so there is no mind. Contemplation like this is called real right contemplation.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Anybody finish? Please check for me the footnote 34. See what is the reference?
Samyutta Ugama 1.
Okay, Samyutta Ugama lah. Samyutta Ugama is equivalent to the Nikaya lah, Samyutta Nikaya lah. So the Samyutta Agama lah, not Ugama lah, Samyutta Agama, which is from Sarvastivada and is prevailing in China. Okay, class, take a look. Now, actually, we go to the course of the teaching, meaning to say the Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. Okay, class, basically, I think it is acceptable for most of us that we have a wrong view that there is a content, there is an existence of self. So, for example, you see, if you go to the mirror, very clear, no need to mirror here. Actually, you can see yourself clearly. You see, okay, because we use this body and we use this name for so many years. So here, I think the youngest is above 35, right? So everybody use this already for 35. We have never skeptical that it doesn't belong to us. Okay, so concrete, so real. Okay, and then we use it to enjoy everything. Okay, we use it to travel. The feeling is so great. For anything, you see. So plus, I mean to say that. But actually, this is our world. Our world is because we can see, we can hear, and then we can see something. Okay, we see, for example, we see the color appeared in the brain. All right, we see certain object, then we like the object, we try to process it. You see, everything is quite real, right? And then we get the things. But some people through the experience, they notice that once they possess something already, they feel the joy, especially the lady who is a shopaholic. Then they will start to realize that the joy will go. Am I right? For Amanda and SJ, I think, you go to shop. I remember I asked the lady, I said, what happened if you manage to get a handbag which you dream for? They said, oh, I might be in the paradise, she said, okay. Then I said, how many days will be the paradise? She said, maximum 3 days. So after 3 days, what you do? I shop again. And the credit card is under my husband's name. It doesn't matter, she said. She doesn't get a loan, you see. Okay, so class, through the experience, people notice that actually the joy itself will diminishing and then disappear. Then you have to make it happen again, you see or not? So some people they are very smart people, they will notice that, oh, actually this is the joy, is quite impermanent. Even though it is very gross, but we notice that, oh, this is impermanent. Okay, then finally we notice that once you have a drastic and this type of joy appear, like as you struck lottery, or maybe you win during the gambling. But basically, the highest the joy, the greater the depression. Am I right? If you enjoy the gathering with a friend, at the same time, you're quite worried for the departure, right? You feel so lonely already. Oh, once depart, you feel lonely, see or not? So that's why in some European country, they make the marijuana, they legalize the marijuana. Of course, the people who will use it, sometimes also due to the emptiness, especially in this type of advanced country, you see. So we need to say that, but Buddha said that actually this is a hallucination. He say even though we feel it's so real, it's because we interpret the world with our present mind. If let's say we are able to produce the jhana is the state where it's the place where the time and the space will be dominated. Once you're in the jhana, there's no time there, there's no space there. When there's no time and space, you go into jhana, you will notice that actually this physical body is keep on changing. And you are able to analyze the whole body to the finest particle, mentally and materially. They notice that actually this is the real, this is the truth. But here we don't see the truth because we don't have the jhana, we don't have the skill of the vipassana to penetrate it. So I hope that so after MCA, once you got holiday, please go to join the retreat. Go to join the retreat, and then try to get the wisdom through the meditation to really experience this. Okay, then this is what the whole text mentioned just now, So let's take a look. You see, here it said that actually, this is the Buddha right contemplation. You see, all the self doesn't exist one. They are all this aggregate sense organ and the elements. You see, so basically, for most of for us or for other religions, they will think that the self is something like a soul. I think maybe for Chinese, they believe people won't pass away, there will be a soul. Then this soul is in the permanent form, we keep on reincarnate. Okay, so this is their perception. But of course, we still believe there's a reincarnation, but it is not conducted by the soul, but it's conducted by a consciousness. Consciousness is something keep on changing, but soul is quite permanent. Like a dog die, then a dog will come out and the dog will migrate, something like that. But for Buddhism perception, when we pass away, the consciousness will start. The consciousness will become a vipaka in other state. See or not? So that is the difference. Basically, we talk about impermanence. We call it as a cell. The definition for a cell, meaning to say that we want to control something. We want to control something. This is the definition. Then impermanence, opposite is the permanent. We hope things never change, and then we want to control it. Okay, so that is the meaning. But this is not the true meaning, according to here. You see. Then he also mentioned that the cell also mean what's making one decision. We want to manipulate and we want to control it. Then let's take a look at this. We mentioned already. So this is the Buddha rise contemplation. A class. This contemplation, please write. Actually, it's a vipassana. This is the Buddha vipassana. To see the truth for all this. So you see, this is the real right contemplation. No matter Abhidhamma or the Samyutta Agama, we keep on mentioning this. Okay, Buddha also mentioned that if you stay in the life, you have lifespan for 100 years, but you have never seen the impermanence and the non-self of our Nama Rupa, well, it is a waste. If you just stay maybe just one day, but you are able to see the impermanence and the non-self of our Nama and Rupa, then you are more worthy than living in the world for 100 years. See or not? So meaning to, because once you're able to see all this, it's quite close to Sotapan already. It's very close for being a sage already, if you're able to see it. Okay, now we go to the next paragraph. Okay, in this way, please, Amanda.
In this way, the world as a receptacle, sentient beings, and every single things are all part of worldly conventional existence. Other than worldly conventional existence, there is nothing else. Worldly means being insubstantial and unreal. We all sentient beings erroneously differentiate. We discover things that we take to be this or that, and based on our thinking of what they are, we name them accordingly. All those things that are commonly recognized, substance, appearance, and function are of the world. Worldly things are part of conventional existence. Conventional means that a thing that has that has an established existence, also called a conventional designation, that arises and exists dependent upon causes and conditions. Although the law of cause and effect is never disorderly, this existence is conventionally established. The Buddha said in the Extraordinary Emptiness Sutra, which is part of the Agama Sutra, that such an existence is impermanent, empty, without a self, beyond worldly Dharma. The worldly Dharma is when this exists, that exists. When this appears, that appears. The Buddha therefore called all the impermanent and the selfless things that come from cause and effect worldly conventional existence.
Okay, no, thank you. So we stop here. Sorry. Mrs. Leung, once you finish, please thumb up. I will go to next page. Okay, thank you. Very efficient, Mrs. Leung. Because Mrs. Leung have been trained. So sitting very fast. I think preferably go through one more paragraph. Yeah, Yokwa, can you please go through one more paragraph? Most of them, please. Okay.
For example, a person consists of the collective activities of the six faculties, clinging to the objects that initiate the six consciousness. The eyes faculty sees visible forms, so it is determined that there is an eyes faculty. But in reality, what is the eyes faculty? Actually, the rise of the eye is not real and is subject to complete extinctions. Also, when the eyes arises, it comes from nowhere. And when it becomes extinct, it goes to nowhere. Because the eyes faculty exists interdependently and arises interdependently, you should not imagine there is a real eyes faculty apparent by itself from somewhere. With regards to seeing visible forms, not a single existing entity can alone carry out the functions of seeing visible forms completely. Seeing visible forms requires different factors for its success. Similarly, the eyes faculty, after arising, immediately becomes extinct. You should also not imagine that there is a true self-existent entity of the eyes faculty that when it becomes extinct here goes somewhere else.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, Tama, please once you finish. Okay, thank you. So class, let's take a look, you see. For this diagram, there's one important word here, you see, which we call as worldly conventional existence. Worldly conventional existence 世俗地啦. Okay, why we keep on mentioning it is because actually, you see a class, as we mentioned, now we take a mirror or we say to each other, I will see Yung Sin, SJ, Amanda, you see how. I will never confuse for three of them because three of you, because even though you all got eye, you all got hair, you got skin. Why? Because three of you even though possess the same organ, but you have a different feature, right? So the eye, the nose, and all this is quite different. But of course, if you wear the mask, a class, if three of you wear the mask, a lot of difference will be covered up. Am I right? Am I right? I noticed that once people just show their eye, it seems everybody is handsome and beautiful. Am I right? But if you remove the mask, then you will shock. Oh, not as we I imagine. Do you notice that or not? Everybody, if you see the eye, looks very handsome. I don't know why. Or even every lady is a beautiful one, you see. But when you remove, you got a shock, you see. So what does that mean? Meaning to say that the world we are living in, there is some rule guidance. We call it as the world conventional truth. So basically, meaning to say all the organs they put in the right place, and then we have a definition. This is the beautiful, this is the ugly. So this is the one of, this is how we understand the world because we label everything. Am I right? We label everything. So this is the beautiful, this is the ugly. And between the beautiful and the ugly, actually it exists due to the comparison. Am I right? Or maybe I will say, SJ, you look very, very tall. Okay, you look very, very tall. Or maybe I compare you with the Sally. Or maybe I say, SJ, you are very short if I compare you with the Yungsin. Meaning to say that the tall and the short, beautiful and the ugly, also is due to the comparison. Meaning to say it doesn't exist, you see. But this is the world we stay here, right? The world will stay here. So coming, we say, inflation, the price go very high, and the air ticket is very expensive. All these words is come from comparison. If without comparison, we can't define it whether it's expensive or non-expensive, you see. So meaning to say, you see, class are here. This is the world we are staying, you see. So he says here, we name them accordingly, you see. You say worldly means what? It's insubstantial and unreal. Why it is unreal? As I say, no exact thing like as a beautiful or ugly or tall or short. So we erroneously differentiate it. Then you see we name them also accordingly. Okay, so if maybe for those a little bit fat, we said, oh, you're as fat as the pig. Maybe something we demean people in this way. But once people try to link this, we start to have frustration already. Oh, so I want to keep diet. I try to be on diet. I want to reduce some fat. You see, so meaning to say that actually the feeling, according to the Dharma, the feeling of the frustration and sad is the real one. But you are as fat as pig. Basically, the fat is come from comparison. Okay, and then the pig also is the name actually. But even though they are the wrong one, they are erroneously defined. Okay, this is the true. This is the words we create, the world we create, and the words we create. But basically, we take it. If you take it seriously, then you have all the negative emotion to arise. See or not? But of course, if let's say your size is so big, you will get chronic disease. Scientifically, this is true, so you cannot say, oh, so you want to remove, you want to remove all the words, all the comparison. No, it's not that right. We still need to use it, to denominate something, to point out something for communication. See, okay, so class, let's take a look. You see, then you see they are commonly recognized. So some we commonly recognize okay, the substance, appearance, and the function. For example, we say okay, you feel jealous. This is commonly recognized. Jealous meaning to say you feel uncomfortable in people's success. See, so this is something we commonly recognize. But the fat or the tall, all this basically is a little bit, quite subjective. Okay, yeah. Then you see, this is our word. You see, okay. Sometimes we use the word as a conventional destination. A conventional destination 这个是名假啦，为了conventional destination， 受假 conventional destination， okay, that is actually that arise and exist dependent on cause and condition. See or not? So meaning to say that whatever exists is based on the conditions. See or not? It's based on condition. This existence is conventionally established. Conventionally 世俗，okay 世俗定义conventionally established. Okay, so class, remember once we talk about the conventional, besides the name, okay, as we mentioned, fat, tall, and including the time and also the space, they are conventional. Why do I say so? Okay, because okay, SJ, do you think north, east, west, are they conventionally established? North, east, west. It seems.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's a compass for that.
Okay, maybe you quite hard to answer, but can I ask you, if you go to the moon, where is the west? Where is the east? No more already, right? No more already. So meaning to say that all these directions, they are only valid in the earth, with the North Pole and the South Pole. If you go to somewhere which is not the earth, without North Pole, South Pole, you can't use it already. So they have their own way to tell the astronomer got their own way. They have established another skills to tell your direction or your direction or where are you, your location, so that can communicate with the earth. Then they can help you something like that. You see. So meaning to say that this is not the truth or the direction. Okay. How about the time, Amanda? Is a time is a truth?
No.
Why?
Different time zone, different country also.
Yeah, so meaning to say that it's not the truth, right? Because if it is truth, meaning to say that no matter what time and space, it's still the same. That is the truth. But of course, we call it as a conventional truth. The time is still a conventional truth because we have to use it. We have to use it. For example, for an appointment, so we go out later on 8 p.m. Okay, so class, you do that after learning this, you tell people that this is not the real one, 8 p.m. So no need to puncture. Hey, cannot be like that, So this is wrong already, So meaning to say you have to, once you are in the conventional truth, we have to follow the rules for the conventional truth. Okay, even though it is not the real one. So remember, So you see, this is a Buddhism. So it mentioned to us that, so this is something, actually everything, there's a cause and condition to make them exist one. Like I say, just now I see Yungzin, Amanda, SJ. So once I remove all your name, okay, then I try to segregate you, apart you, become the hair, skin, the interior organ. And then from the organ, I will try to analyze you, discern you again to the atom and molecule, and from the atom molecule again, I go to deep again now until I cannot analyze. That is the truth. Okay, Abhidhamma, that is the truth. Until to the stage, I cannot analyze again. Now science call it as a positron or photon. Positron or the photon is the substance of the mass, which is considered truth in Abhidhamma. Okay, so this is the subtlest part. It forms the universe. Am I right? So this positron, photon, it forms the whole universe. Okay. Okay, then here a quick example, like you say, if let's say you mean the eye faculty is truth, he say he could one example, really got eye faculty. Yes, okay, because actually you see class, here's our eye, right? Okay, maybe more easy example, you see, so this is the eye. Okay, if maybe I say eye consciousness, okay, it is a true, you see now you all can see me, I can see you. Okay, but if let's say we turn off the light, okay, now the eclipse happened, we don't see nothing, then we can't see anything already, you see. Okay, and then maybe, so one, we need the sun so that we can see to each other, right? Then second, if let's say our eye is very tired, it's very sick, then you cannot, everything you see blur already, see or not? So meaning to say, if your eye fatigue, you can't use it, then the image cannot appear. Okay, and then again, if you've got some sickness, your eye, I mean, this is the condition now. We need the condition so that we see the thing. So we need to say that this is for everything. I mean, we can analyze. We notice that everything depends on many factors. There are interrelations to form certain thing. So that's we call it not the truth. So this is subject to the condition. There's some cause and condition to make things appear. So we need to say that if let's say if let's say you don't see me, meaning to say that we don't call it you already disappeared. It's because once the condition gone, then I don't see you. That's all only. You go nowhere actually. Maybe some people will ask, okay, if let's say the eclipse, no light, so where do you go? Actually, you go nowhere. You're still here. But just because the condition is not there, then we don't see each other. So here is using the faculty as an example, you see. So same only, you say you shouldn't imagine it is a real one, you shouldn't imagine it's a truly self-existent entity of eye faculty, because I mean it exists, it's due to the many factors to comes together, you see. So next paragraph, Yung Sin, can you please read it? The discourse.
The discourse in the Extraordinary Emptiness Sutra is clear enough. All things, the world as a receptacle, sentient beings, forms, and mind, are part of the worldly conventional existence and dependently originated existence. That is, they are impermanent and without self, having instead indirect relationships and mutual dependence. Sentient beings are united, exist continuously, and turn endlessly in the ocean of birth and death. This is the endless continuation of birth and death, death and birth, endless transmigration, and endless suffering. When this does not exist, that does not exist. When this ceases, that ceases. The empty and calm nature of dependent origination has an even more profound meaning. Birth and death, impermanent and without self, come from affliction, which causes karma, from karma, which causes suffering, and from this resultant suffering, which give rise to the karma of confusion. Is this birth and death of dependent origination going to continue forever? No, it's possible to escape because the cause of birth and death also lies within dependent origination. After the Buddha expounded on the dependently originated transmigrations of birth and death, he addressed their extinction. When this does not exist, that does not exist. When this ceases, that ceases. This means that the extinction of ignorance leads to the extinction of action. The extinction of action leads to the extinction of consciousness, and so forth down to the extinction of the conglomerates of pure great suffering. Because of causes and condition, dependently originated things exist. All that relies through condition will not remain permanently unchanged. What exists will become non-existent. That which have arisen will eventually become completely extinct. Although things that arise and become extinct do so instantly, because of the endless continuation of the afflictions and karma, after extinction, they are born again. So the suffering effects always also continue endlessly. If one can counteract the afflictions, that is ignorance, desire, and so forth, so that they will not arise, then the karmic force will disappear and birth and death will also cease. For example, when a wind rises and continues to blow, the ocean is stirred into great waves. But once the wind stops, the ocean becomes calm again. The reason that birth and death can be escaped is that birth and death have a dependently originated conventional existence. As the Buddha said in the Agama Sutra, there is not a single thing to which one can become attached without making a serious mistake. Thus, if one becomes attached to some actual thing and also maintains that it does not exist, one is mistaken. That which actually exists cannot be non-existent. If one says that something that actually exists is non-existent, one has made a big mistake in one's thinking. The Buddha said no such thing. Rather, that which arises and becomes extinct is dependently originated and is conventionally existent. So it is impossible to become attached to it. Since there is no real arising to begin with, there is no actual thing to become extinct.
Okay, thank you so much. please once you finish. Okay, class, let's take a look. So this is the meaning for this sentence. So this is the conclusion. So number 5, you see, one, this doesn't exist, that doesn't exist. So once there's no ignorance, so mental formation doesn't exist. One mental formation doesn't exist and the consciousness doesn't exist. So in the present cause, once the attachment doesn't exist and the becoming doesn't exist. Once the becoming doesn't exist, then the birth doesn't exist. So that is the meaning here, you see, class. So this is the meaning here, doesn't exist. So actually, this is the rules. Why? Okay, basically for the 12-link condition, it sounds not difficult, right? For us, just one by one memorize it. But if let's say, no people tell us, you develop your own jhana and you develop your own vipassana, you might not be able to find it out, these 12 elements. And by knowing this 12 element, meaning to say that because this is the it shows the cause and effect for the reincarnation, and from here it also signifies that there's an end for the reincarnation if you know where you target to, you see. So class, let's take a look, you see. So we say once what this cease and that cease. So in the very beginning of the class, I mentioned that here actually the main cause is the ignorance and the craving. They are the culprit for the reincarnation. So meaning to say, if the ignorance doesn't exist, then all this no more for the next life. Okay, for the present life. And same for present life, if the craving no more, then the rest also doesn't exist. Okay, then we take a look, you see. So meaning to say, from here we know nothing will remain permanently unchanged. Everything is keep on changing. So class, you see, here, basically when we talk about the consciousness, this is the past life karma. So maybe one of the past life karma, which is the most heaviest and determined. Okay, so we become a human. But here, class, this is still our conscious. And from here, mind and method, meaning to say that once we get a consciousness, you see, and we got a mind and method, meaning to say at this point, the sperm and the ovum from our father, mother, they already met to each other. So from here, we go into consciousness, we go into the fetus, okay? We integrate, become one part of the fetus, and then we grow the method and mind and the sixth sense, you see. So this is something we see. And then the sixth sense need times to grow up and then responds to the external, to the exterior. Because in the very beginning, we are not responsive yet because the organ haven't fully developed. Once the organ fully developed, then we will start have all these things, you see. We have the feeling, we have the contact, and then we have the feeling, you see. So this is the meaning here, you see. So everything won't be remain unchanged. It's keep on changing, you see. Then you see there's an endless continuation of affliction or karma. The reason is because one, if you don't try to stop it, the ignorance and the craving, so the wheel of the reincarnation will keep on and keep on, you see. Okay, so thus, if one become attached to some actual thing, also maintain that it doesn't exist, one is mistake. So actually, no such thing exists. Basically, everything depends on the condition, you see. So class, you see, for example, you start to reincarnate, okay, past cause come to this life with reincarnation, you must have an ignorance. And also at the same time, you have a craving, you see. So this is, because you have an ignorance and the craving, then the ignorance make you to create the karma, and then one of the karma to bring you to this life. And in order you get the human of the body, we need the body and mind. Okay, in order to develop the body and mind, we need the sperm and ovum from our parents, you see. So meaning to say for every step, there is a cause and condition. Even though you want to develop the craving, you must have an organ, you must possess the organ first, the sixth sense, and then you contact with the sixth subject, then you will have a craving, you see. So that is the meaning here. Everything, nothing is so real. Everything depends on the condition, you see. Okay, now next. Yes, maybe Mr. Leong will try to read. Because the law
of dependent origination is illusory, one discovers the possibility of liberation from birth and death, and from there one reaches the state of being completely liberated from birth and death. How can one reach that state? All things are conventionally designated based on dependent origination. Conventional things and the conventional self are illusory, impermanent, and empty, without a self. As for ignorance, all the afflictions of self-infatuation, self-perception, arrogance, self-love, this conceals the truth. It views all things, particularly sentient beings, as real, imagining that these have permanent and independent selves. Being self-centered in all one's activities, one becomes attached to everything, creating good and evil karma and transmigrating. If one truly contemplates dependent origination and understands that everything is impermanent and without a self, then one's confused self-centered attachment will lose its object, afflictions, and will not arise. Afflictions will also engender and become extinct in accordance with the law of dependent origination, and birth and death will cease. That is why the Buddha said, those who think of impermanence can establish the thought of the non-existence of the self. Holy disciples who hold the thought of the non-existence of the self and who keep the mind far from arrogance smoothly attain nirvana.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh, Mr. Leong, your cough, I think, is almost fully recovered. Because if you can't read if you're not fully recovered. I think around 3 weeks to fully recover, you know.
Under control.
You control it very well with your qigong and meditation, and also of course the medicine now, everything now, all right, and so you see, this is also conditional.
Yeah, all interdependent.
All in conventional dependent. So meaning to say, you can't see something that can exist by itself. There must be a few reasons, a few conditions to make it appear.
Yes.
Anyone check for me the footnote 39? It is still same agama.
IB, Sifu.
IB means agama lah, right?
IBID.
IBID stand for what lah? Refer above, right? IBID.
Yes, Sifu, is mentioned the same source.
Mention the same source. Okay, so Samyutta Agama lah. So class, you see, me need to say for this chapter, the author used a lot of material from the Samyutta Agama. Class, you see, this is something concealed the truth. You see, self-infatuation, self-perception, arrogance, and self-love. So these four combined together is the ignorance. So basically, we need to say that we are not living in the ultimate truth, but we are living in the conventional truth. And the reason is due to all these four things. So class, we said, so how am I supposed to do? So if you go to the meditation center, basically they will tell you, they will define you all these four things. So what is your job is try to clear all these things. So they will define it for you. So this is the one who concealed the truth, and then it makes us to see things become the permanent. Then we become self-centered, then we attach and create the karma and start transmigrating, you see. So we know the reason is because all these things, so this is the reason. If let's say we can truly contemplate impermanent and without oneself, then birth and death will cease. Okay, from here we know that now. So the law and dependent origination is illusory also. Basically, even though dependent origination tell us the 12 elements, okay, but it is also illusion. Of course, everything is illusion. For the definition, just only the mind, the mental factor, and the material. This all, if you analyze to the finest particle, they are the truth. And one more is the nibbana. So they are the real things in the definition of the Abhidhamma. So the rest, they are illusion. Okay, so let's see again. Okay, nothing much. We mentioned it already. One more, two more. Okay, still long. Okay, class, I think I'll stop here for today, the class. Okay, so we transfer the merit. Okay, so class, please pump